Hey, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a response video to an email I received from a viewer. I'm going to hide their name, so this will be an anonymous. Anyways, it says, thanks for the support. I am depressed sometimes, but your videos somehow solve my dilemma and get me back on track. I have a question that might be good for a video. You say that you had a narcissistic mother, and then you spent 20 years with a narcissistic wife. I wonder how you survived because I know two different persons that were abused as husbands for 40 years and they are now emotionally numb. I was married for 3 years with my wife and we have a 2-year-old daughter that is kept away from me at the moment. My wife constantly tried to gaslight me, but I was fortunate enough to recognize the attempts more than a year ago, and I was able to block it and escape. I'm still the subject of a huge smear campaign, though. I worry, though, for my daughter. Thanks. Okay. So I have hit this topic in the past, and one of the things is that this is really hard to get over and to heal from. And anybody who's been going through this for a majority of their life, and as to the example that they mentioned in their email, and in my situation, effectively, it was over 40 years with my upbringing and then my marriage. It really takes a toll on you. And, you know, when you talk about how you survived, it's just by sheer perseverance. It's just by that fundamental will where you just don't give up. Now, that's not to say that there weren't times where I felt like giving up or that I didn't struggle with it, because I absolutely did. It was very, very tough. It was very complicated. And even after this, after I escaped, if you want to call it that, there was a period of time where I was emotionally numb. I even actually made some videos about that in the early days of the channel, just because I know people go through that. It's a phase you're going to go through. When you've been so devalued and emotionally abused and attacked for so long, it's really, really tough to see a way through it. I mean, that's the reason why some people don't make it. That's the reason why suicide rates among divorce and whatnot is really high, because your entire world is shattered. Everything that you use to validate your self-worth is gone. And you can feel either emotionally numb or you can just feel completely devastated. Numb is a little bit more safer than whenever you feel completely devastated, because at least in my experience, when I was emotionally numb, it was just, to be honest, when I got to that stage, I actually liked it because I was tired of feeling so much pain and so much hurt and just so much devastation. And the sad part about it is, though, is that when you get into the numb state, you can't stay there for a long time, because that has its own problems too. And I hope that you can use my story as an example of a success story, because I did go through all that. I did feel those ways. I did struggle with all of this stuff, and I've been able to get to where I am today. Was it easy? Absolutely not. It was not easy. It was incredibly frustrating and incredibly tough. That's why I often talk about the dark days of this whenever I was in this mode, where I was going to therapy once a week. I was reading books. I was watching videos. I was doing everything I was even doing hypnosis. I was doing everything I possibly could to be able to survive that part of the experience and get my life back. So for this person, if you're talking to your friends who are just emotionally numb, and I'm assuming in that situation, you're saying husbands as in like they're still married and they can't see the way out of it. One, you can't have somebody make this realization themselves. They have to figure it out on their own. They have to come to that realization that something's wrong and that they deserve better. It took me a little over 20 years to get to that point in my marriage. I would say that when I was younger, I got to that point when I left the home, so to speak, but I just replicated that situation with my next relationship and marriage. So when you're stuck in it, it's really tough. And I mean, that's a dangerous mode too. I mean, somebody can just feel like that they don't have, that there's no basically that there's no escape, that you can't stay in the marriage, you can't leave the marriage. You know, everything is crap, every solution is bad, and you feel trapped. And to be honest, for a significant portion of time, that's the way I felt. It wasn't until I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I owe myself the opportunity for something to be better. And that was tough. I mean, it took a really long time to get to that point. It took 20 years to get to that point. I knew throughout the marriage that there were issues, but I never was able to wrap my head around it. And I didn't see a future after all of it. So I kept staying, trying to convince myself that it would work. This is why I say to a lot of people who have friends or their own, maybe their kids who are adult children who are through this, that they can seem trapped, but there's still a chance for them to break free from it, because I'm a good example of it. In my early 40s, everything fell apart, and I am where I am today as a result of that. And the one nice thing for anybody who has family or friends who are going through this is at least they have a lifeline. So if they get to that point, or when they get to that point, either where they're discarded or they finally just realize that, oh my God, I deserve an opportunity to have a life not filled with chaos and emotional abuse and a devaluation and all that stuff. So I hope that answered your question. If you have if I've not, leave a follow up in the comments. I'm doing these question and answer type things. So if you have a question that you want me to address, or a topic you want me to address, you can email me at Duane@dadsurvivingdivorce.com, or leave it in the comments in the video. If this channel is helpful to you, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. It helps out a lot. Plus, YouTube will then tell you about all the videos, which is always awesome. I'll leave in the card over here my Mindset for Narcissistic Abuse recovery playlist, and the video above that is a video that YouTube has determined is the best match for your search terms. So check that out as well, and I will talk to you on the next video. Take care.